Today I'm going to show you a biological technique that allows us to root plant cuttings in water much faster than usual.
Instead of relying on plain water, we'll create a living aquatic system filled with beneficial microorganisms. These microorganisms help in three key ways. They release natural nutrients for the developing roots, they increase oxygen levels in the water, and most importantly, they produce natural rooting hormones. With this method, roots not only appear sooner, but once they do, the plant already has access to everything it needs to grow strong and healthy. This means less stress during transplanting and much faster establishment in soil.
Rooting in water works because plant stems naturally form a callus at the cut site. From this callus, new roots emerge. However, in regular water, oxygen levels are often low, nutrients are limited, and rooting hormones may be insufficient. By cultivating beneficial microorganisms, we solve all of these problems at once. We'll be working with three main groups: microorganisms that release nutrients from the soil, photosynthetic organisms that produce oxygen, microorganisms that generate rooting hormones. Most of these will be algae, bacteria, and cyanobacteria, and the best part is that we don't need to buy anything. These organisms already exist naturally around our homes. To begin, we'll need transparent containers. Glass jars, plastic cups, or clear bottles all work well. Transparency is important because light allows photosynthesis to occur, which increases oxygen in the water. The size of the container depends on the length of the cuttings. For plants like jasmine, rosemary, or lavender, cuttings of about 15 centimeters are ideal, and small jars are enough. For larger plants like hibiscus, taller containers are better so the roots have space to grow and the cutting stays well hydrated. We'll also need small stones or gravel, soil collected from moist areas, water, preferably rainwater. Now let's gather the microorganisms. The key is to look for moist, shaded environments, because that's where microbial life thrives. Good places include soil under plants that are covered with leaves, flower pots where mulch or bark has been added, soil beneath strawberry plants or ground cover, under logs or shaded garden areas. If you collect soil after rainfall, it's even better. Microorganisms are more active when moisture levels are high. You can also use green water collected at the bottom of self-watering systems, rainwater that has turned green over time. If you're not using the material immediately, store it in a sealed container away from direct sunlight to keep the microorganisms alive. Start by adding a thin layer of moist soil, about 1 centimeter deep, to the bottom of the container. This is where the microorganisms will establish themselves. Next, add the stones. The stones serve two purposes. They provide surface area for microorganisms to grow. They keep the soil stable at the bottom. Now add water until the container is about halfway full. If you're using tap water, let it sit for several hours beforehand so the chlorine can evaporate. If you already have green water rich in microorganisms, adding just 1 spoonful to each container can significantly speed up the process. Choose young, healthy branches that are actively growing. Avoid branches with flowers whenever possible, as flowering diverts energy away from root formation. Here are some examples: jasmine, hydrangea, lavender, rosemary, oregano, bougainvillea, hibiscus. For most plants, remove all leaves from the lower portion of the stem. Make a diagonal cut at the base to maximize water absorption. For plants with large leaves like hydrangea, remove lower leaves completely. Cut upper leaves in half to reduce water loss. This helps balance transpiration until roots form. Place the cuttings into the water immediately to prevent dehydration. Make sure a good portion of the stem remains submerged. As the days pass, you'll notice callus formation at the cut. roots emerging not only at the cut, but along the submerged stem. Keep an eye on the water level. If it evaporates too much, exposed roots can dry out. To prevent mosquitoes from laying eggs, you can place a layer of synthetic fiber around the stems, leaving the leaves exposed for photosynthesis. This system creates a complete micro-ecosystem where plants receive oxygen, nutrients, and hormones simultaneously. Once roots are well developed and white in color, the cutting is ready to be transplanted. Choose small pots and, at soil, place the rooted cutting inside. Cover all roots completely. If stones are attached to the roots, don't worry. They can stay. After transplanting, water immediately so the roots can adapt to their new environment. It's normal for some cuttings to flower early because they're receiving abundant nutrients. Once a plant is removed, simply top up the water and place a new cutting inside. This system can be reused continuously. For larger plants like hibiscus, be gentle when removing roots from the stones. Use your fingers or a fork if necessary, and always support the roots. Healthy new roots will be bright white, a sign that the system is working perfectly. This biological rooting method is simple, natural, and incredibly effective. By working with microorganisms instead of against them, we give our plants the best possible start. If you found this helpful, try it with different plants and see the results for yourself. Thanks for watching, and happy growing.